Welcome to nighttime, or net time with Nick. It's morning. Coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Sorry, I'm Nick. Lots of changes to volleyball in the area for the upcoming season. One of them, net time with Nick. Evidently, Tom thought he was too good for me or something. See what I mean? Too good for me. Lots of changes in the volleyball landscape for the upcoming season. Just a lot of things to get through. First of all, a lot of coaching changes, 15 overall, including the biggest program over at Norfolk High. Sat down with Katie Wright before the season just to talk about her expectations and trying to build a program at somewhere where, quite frankly, there really hasn't been a lot of volleyball tradition.
Getting the excitement and energy for the sport of volleyball in Norfolk is definitely important. We have some of our youth kids who you can tell want to play this sport. They love coming in to the open gym, seeing the older girls play. And one of the biggest challenges is seeing that carry through at the high school level.
Speaking of coaching changes, 15 overall in the area, 5 of them alone in the Mid-State Conference. And another thing, an earlier start to the season, there's one start date now in the NSA for all sports, including volleyball. They got to start practice the same time as football, cross country, softball, all the other ones. So that one start date also means that matches can start as soon as Thursday night. A lot of coaches didn't necessarily take advantage of that this year, and one of those was over at Norfolk Catholic with Travis Fisher. And that was one thing that I talked with him a little bit about in our preseason interview.
It changed a little bit for us that week of August 7th, where we typically would have just spent an hour of conditioning. We did that, but in addition to, we were able to, to touch a ball and do some volleyball drills. So we added to that, and basically, we just used it as an extra week of practice to get acclimated to what the girls were doing, and to get the incoming freshmen and the new girls a chance just to bond and get to know each other and get some ball handling in.
One other thing we'll need to keep an eye out for this season is class changes. Lutheran High talked with Coach Kathy Gebhardt about this. They were one of very few teams that actually moved up in classes. If you recall, a year ago they were in Class D1, made it to the state tournament. This year they moved up to C2, which brings them a lot of extra challenges. Going to be in a tough sub-district in particular, and that was one thing that she talked about.
Our schedule obviously pretty much stays the same. The PowerPoints is a little affected. Last year we probably got a few extra PowerPoints being D2, or D1, excuse me, because we played the more C1 and C2 schools where we got those extra PowerPoints, which we won't this year being in, C2 playing other C2 schools. But probably the biggest thing it affects is, the sub-district at the end of the season, bumping back up to C2 being a very tough sub-district. So, we're going to have to work hard all season and be ready to play at a high level.
Among some of the other class changes, Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family, West Holt, they're teams that dropped down from C2 to D1. And another one, Emerson Hubbard, just a couple of years ago, was one of the top teams in D1. They dropped down to D2 for this upcoming season. Going to take a look at some of the preseason ratings also. To me, it seems like there's a clear top 3 in Class C with Stanton, North Bend Central, and Hartington Cedar Catholic. And Stanton has a couple of very impressive juniors coming back. One of them, Jessie Brandel, she talked about how important it was for them to make it to state 2 years ago when she was a freshman starting for them. Ended up making it to state runner-up that season before last year's state championship.
Yeah, we had a feel of going to state and how it's going to be and how the crowd is going to be and how people are going to be against you usually. So we were really prepared for all that. And being down there, we got us prepared for the first one. So we handled it well, I guess.
Another one of those juniors, Bree Burtwhistle, she talked about how she kind of welcomed that target of being defending state champions and just how high the expectations are around Stanton.
Our expectations is definitely a repeat. Work as hard as we can to try to repeat and just come out as that state champs.
Another one of those players among those top 3 is Maddie Weisler from Hartington Cedar Catholic. A couple of years ago, it wasn't very long ago, that Cedar won only 9 matches in an entire season. Now they're up to defending state tournament appearance. They've won a conference title since she moved up to high school, and she talked about just the high expectations around that program for this season.
We're expecting to be a very fast-paced team on the free balls and aggressive and we just want to win as much as we can. And we want to win all of our tournaments that we're in conference again like we did when I was a freshman, and then we're looking for the state championship this year.
From there, it seems like the rest of Class C looks pretty balanced. We got Wisner Pilger in the number 4 spot, and their setter, Lauren Jacobson. She talked about how high the expectations were, and a lot of that, let's be honest, is with their coach. Gene Groth has been there for what seems like an eternity. Okay, 39 years, but still. You know, that changes things when you have a coach who's been there that long, and that was something that Lauren talked about when we visited before the season.
Yeah, she definitely has really high expectations for us, and so it's kind of our job to be able to keep that legacy going at Wisner Pilger and having that consistent program.
You know, same thing in Class D when you talk about balance. Really hard to kind of figure out even a top 8 or top 10 for, you know, the teams down there. Looking at Guardian Angel, Central Catholic, Humphrey St. Francis, Elgin Public, Pope John among the top 3 teams. I really feel like Clarkson Lee could make a jump, and another one of those class changes affects the ratings. Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family is down to Class D1, and they've got one of the top hitters in the area. It's going to really be a different looking season with all the coaching changes, class changes, this earlier start. Keep tuned. We'll be putting out a new show every week, so look for another episode for Net Time. For all of us here at the Norfolk Daily News, I'm Nick Benish, and thank you for watching.